Welcome back to Atmosfearic. I'm joined again by the amazing Ciaran Nil.
Hello.
And today we will continue talking about the lovely world of horror, and in this case, about mascot horror.
Yes.
From this point onward, we're going to get kind of more like honed in with the things that we talk about. So initially, we kind of started with broad. It was like, well, how did we get into horror? And then we danced around into kind of broad genres that encapsulate a lot, and very quickly realized that there is nuanced external genres that could be categorized under other genres. Like, oh yeah, we're talking about creature features. Well, okay, aliens and monsters. And I mean, a ghost is a creature, and it just kind of continued to elaborate. But now we're gonna hold the funnel. We got the magnifying glass. We looking in, and today it is mascot horror. So,
Yes.
and it was popularized actually only like 10 years ago, 10 to 12 years ago about. I think
Yeah,
that's when
FNAF
FNAF came out.
was about 2012. Is it 2012,
I remember
2014, somewhere around
it was
there?
like 2012 or 13, I think, because I think I was still in high school, which is another
My gosh, the time flies.
dating myself here. But yeah, it's I remember it came out towards the end of high school and quickly got traction, but when the second and third game came out, that's when it was like, okay, this is something crazy, and then everybody realized
It's
how
big.
big it was going to be, and then it just continued to go, and then it kind of, I feel like it plateaued with Security Breach, but um we'll see how the future brings with that.
We'll
But
see what happens with how they go after Secret of the Mimic.
I honestly, gonna be honest, I kind of miss the point and click playstyle.
Yeah, it feels like a different game. Like Secret of the Mimic, when I played it, I loved it. It was very fresh. I don't think it doesn't feel like a Five Nights at Freddy's game, which I think is why I liked it so much, because it felt new. There were nods to a lot of the lore, but it felt like something different. And I
It
think that's why it was kind of like breath of fresh air for me.
it kind of to me looked almost like I didn't play it myself, but I've watched people play it. Um, it kind of looked like a Bendy in the Ink Machine game to me.
Yeah, it definitely kind of had more of that like more modernized kind of poppy playtime gameplay to it. That's more popular these days. And with Five Nights at Freddy's, it's always equated to the monitors for me. I only recently played the games like 2 years ago. Like I only actually recently played all the original ones like a few years back, and they were fun. But once you get out of Sister Location kind of killed it for me. Specifically, the secret ending RNG bullshit of
Oh,
Sister
yeah.
Location
Yeah.
is what really like kind of crushed me playing the rest of them. I liked Pizzeria Simulator and what it did, but I think after that, it kind of they tried to do too much with what is inherently a simple concept that works.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely I think also like another thing that makes me enjoy the older FNAF games more than the newer ones is I felt like the way the challenge was changed too. So it was very mechanical being experienced with like 1 through like 4. It was like you had to get down to the mechanics and know the little audio triggers and stuff like that to understand what you're hearing in the background and what's going on. But as soon as it kind of shifted towards the more like I'm roaming around kind of games, it kind of
Yeah.
dwelled into what we spoke about before, where it just becomes like the difficulties like chase sequences again. And I'm not I'm not all about the chase sequences. Like I think obviously I haven't played the Mimic game because it honestly didn't interest me at all. But like out of the two, if I was like supposed to see like Security Breach or see Mimic, I think Security Breach looks more interesting, but it was incredibly unpolished. So it was like it kind of just had like that kind of
Yeah.
interesting thing, but like it also didn't. I don't feel like either of the games did what the core identity of a FNAF game was. They just kind of became. They just became your normal walking around horror games, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's not what I want to see from FNAF, I guess. I don't know, personally.
You can stop making a game. Like you don't have to keep making a game in a series for it to keep relevance.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's the one thing that really hits it, is they've made so many more after when, like, Ultimate Custom Night, it should have been the last thing.
Mm-hmm.
I fully think that it should have been the last thing, and there should have been nothing
I agree.
more continued from that.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're in this weird, like, the secret ending for the security breach. You go into the basement. Afton's alive again. Why is he here? What are we doing?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, okay. And I think that's why I preferred Secret of the Mimic to Security Breach, is because Secret of the Mimic tells a completely different person's story and has, like, FNAF, like Five Nights at Freddy's and Fazbear's Pizzeria, like Fazbear's Family Diner, actually, because of how old it is, like, back in the background with just, like, a few emails, and it's just someone else's story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thing with Mimic, where it's like, okay, you're kind of telling different stories in this world, which that, if you want to continue to flesh out your world and not focus on the convoluted lore that gives me a headache every time I try and think about it, that's great if you want to continue to build it. But I think it should have stopped after Custom Night with the base story.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think that's a good cutoff point too, and it adds like it was also the peak of like all the difficulty. I guess that was definitely like the hardest game to play properly, because you could in theory be a masochist and turn everything on and put it to 20 and.
I mean,
Daco
did it.
Yeah,
somehow.
so did Mark. But
no, thank you.
I'm just like that's suffering for me. That's a little too much. That's a little. I don't know about that one. I mean, maybe 5 on everything, maybe, but like going full 20, that's
pain.
That's crazy. but yeah, FNAF in general, criticisms for it aside, it really kind of opened the door for Mascot horror, and I don't think it was like necessarily like the start of it. I think a lot of people recognize it as like being like the origin of it. It's not, but it's definitely what like popularized it. I mean, that same year that FNAF came out, there was even another big game that came out, which I feel like isn't talked about as much these days, and that's Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. That game came out the same year.
I didn't know if it was before or the same year. I thought it was before.
Well, according to this Google search, Five Nights at Freddy's came out in 2014, so I was actually the year I graduated, and Spooky came out in 2014 as well. So.
Okay. Yeah, Spookies is... I love Spookies. I absolutely adore Spookies. DLCs, story it told. I loved everything that game was.
It was really cool, and it was unique, and it still is unique among the Mascot horror games, and even outside of Mascot horror too. It's has its own identity, especially the the start of it being so harmless and then escalating as the game goes on.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the just a little cardboard cutout, so cute.
But then you have other considerations. You had like 2 years later, Tattletale came out.
Tattletale was good.
You had Bendy and the Ink Machine, which came out a year after that, and then it had a sequel. Indigo Park recently. We had My Friendly Neighbor, Shipwrecked, Giggleland.
My Friendly Neighborhood? The Muppet one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like BioShock kind of like take on it.
It was a fun one. It was funky.
Yeah, it definitely.
I had a lot of fun with that one.
I like almost wanted to play it just because I'm kind of like I've been itching my neck trying to play BioShock again, and I'm like, but at the same time I'm like I've played it so much.
Just play BioShock. Just play
but like,
it. Just
play
it. I mean, I've been feeling this. Just play it. Who gives a shit? Just play the damn game.
Fair.
Follow the dopamine.
Fair. Maybe I will, or at least I'll play Infinite because Infinite I only played once. Infinite I only played once, so maybe I'll play Infinite. BioShock 1 2.
You have an excuse because Judas. We're waiting on Judas to come out, so you're just getting ready. You're just getting ready.
I see you. I actually will be playing. The next horror game we'll be playing is Silent Hill Forte, so that'll be.
Ooh, nice.
Garden of Banban. And I've never heard of this one, Bonnie's Bakery.
I haven't heard of that one before.
Yeah, I'm actually genuinely curious what this is.
I have a bunch of really weird ones in my library that I still need to play.
I like
I mean,
weird
you have
ones, so.
Shipwreck 64 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And coming up, you have Giggle Land, which already has a demo out.
Oh. It's like Cooking Mama and Spooky's House of Jumpscare combined.
Ooh, okay, I need to check that one out.
Yeah, I'm adding this to my list. What the heck? Wait a minute. Let me bookmark this to add this later because I'm not logged into Steam here. But yeah,
you need to send me the name of it so I can too.
yeah. I'll just leave that open. Like that's cool. What the fuck? Yeah, it's literally got like the art style of Spooky's House of Jumpscare. It's got like you walk around in it, but also like you have like a Cooking Mama restaurant, and then it just gets very gory.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay.
I'm here for it.
And it says multiple endings, story rich, cooking cute, and it's 2D. And I'm like, that's interesting.
Okay then.
Never heard of that one, but thank you, Google. Basics and intermediate filmmaking? I don't know what this one is either.
There's a lot of weird Mascot horror games.
It's only $1.
Yep. Most of them are pretty cheap.
Basics and intermediate filmmaking is a pre-apocalyptic puzzle horror. You explore an abandoned power plant in order to document what happened to the famous Fortitude Electric Power Company. Use your camera to solve different puzzles around the facility and try to survive. It actually has very few reviews, so I don't think a lot of people played it.
Yeah, well, that's another thing with like horror games online. There's a lot that nobody knows about that someone just wanted to play, and it's like sometimes those are some of the best ones.
Yeah, they can be. I know one that like I feel like it exists only when you perceive it. it's like everybody knows it, but it's not like talked about like FNAF is, and that's Amanda the Adventurer, which is a more recent one.
Amanda the Adventurer gives me a headache. I'm not smart enough. It took me 5 hours to beat the second one.
Oh god.
Because of the first puzzle. Because the first everything else was smooth sailing. The first puzzle, I think, I was trying to record it. It was at a time when I was working really heavily, so it never got made into a video. I think the first section literally was 2 hours long. And I by the end of it, you just heard me being like, oh, what is it?
I'm just done. Let me out. I want to go home, Mom.
But I beat it. I beat it.
There won't
be videos of it, but I beat it.
The first one stumped a lot of people. I've watched a lot of people play it. Like, I played it myself, and I didn't have too much problems with it. But I remember the first one, I watched a lot of people just be, like, stuck in the loop of just, like, dying to something and going back to the beginning and not realizing that things changed, and then not realizing that they could do so different things, or remembering different input, like, putting the oven to different degrees and putting different things in the oven, and forgetting that that's the thing you could do.
I thought the first one kind of walked you through pretty nicely with everything, like putting a good emphasis on everything.
Yeah.
Like, I think the one that got me, it took me a few retries to get the weather puzzle when you're watching the TV.
Oh,
and you
yes.
have to go to like the weather machine. Like pause it on the weather alerts. That one got me because there's one in there that's not on there that you have to skip. And I kept getting confused by that.
Yeah.
Because they gave you like 5 warnings, there's only 4 you have to press or something like that.
Yeah, that one had a couple moments like that. I'm trying to think. There was another one that stumped me in that. I don't remember which one it was.
And then it also has a lot of like really nuanced stuff. Like if you type specific things into specific points, and Amanda reacts to it. Like it is a trippy, like very trippy game.
It's like, yeah, if you type her like dad's name, her name, her actual name, you type the aunt's name. What else was there? I don't know. There was a bunch of other things. Yeah, it triggers her. She's just like, "Wait, shut up, shut up! Don't bring this up." It's a very sad game too. In reality, too, it's
very much so.
It's interesting because it does the exact same kind of premise as like FNAF of having like quote unquote dead kids kind of haunting something. But I think it puts it
more front and center.
Yes, it puts it more in your face because like. At no point are you just like, yeah, that animatronic trying to kill me makes me think of a kid trying to kill me. Like you're not thinking about that, but you're constantly reminded by Amanda being like trapped in there and being a victim to the influence of the demon that's in, you know, and also just probably just torment and trauma. But it's a very interesting take on the Mascot horror, and it was very different energy to everything else because everyone else, I felt like for a while they were just like, let's just try to create FNAF, and so everybody was just like roaming animatronics or roaming people in costumes or whatever was kind of like every game that came out. Everyone was stylized like that. There's so many, and that's just like not even just the ones that were like in the world of FNAF or whatever. Like there was just like a lot of people trying to make exactly what FNAF was, and you know, it's kind of
so many clones.
It's nice to see, yeah, exactly. It's nice to see like Spookies. It's nice to see Amanda. It's nice to see like games like that kind of try to detour from what the loop of Mascot horror needs to be. Shipwrecked as well, yeah.
Shipwrecked, a great ARG and just a great game in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fantastic. They are coming out. That team is coming out with another game. They have it available to wishlist. I'm already waiting for it. So I'm hoping it's going to be along the same lines. Another one that really stuck out to me recently, Finding Frankie.
Finding Frankie, that's actually right in front of my face right now.
That was such a departure, but it was so much fun. The controls were very tight. I remember getting mad at the final encounter, but other than that, I just had fun. It was such a good time.
All the teeth, all the teeth. The teeth.
Freaking Fall Guys Mascot horror game.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, I see. Oh, another one I forgot about. Baldi's Basics in Education and Learning.
Nope. Oh yes, that ruler sound is ingrained in my brain.
It is fucking. It's
I just hear it now. He's coming for me.
No running in the hall. Let's play a game. One.
I don't have legs. I can't
two.
run.
Freaking amazing game that again is just that unnerving appearance to it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's even more unnerving if you're somebody who actually grew up in like the 90s and stuff and would have seen like those educational style of games or videos and stuff like that. It's like it hits so much harder because it's like, oh, I know this art style. I've seen shows like this. That one spider show had that art style. The what was it called? There was a show called like Little Miss Spider or some shit like that. I forget what it's called.
Oh, I have no idea. The one that comes to mind is Sonic Schoolhouse.
Did that have that art style?
It had a very similar kind of theme to it, like the plastered walls and like the big colors and numbers.
Yeah, Miss Spider's Sunny Patch Friends.
What?
Has nightmare fuel. Wait, let me send you this. You need to witness what I'm looking at right now. Here you go. Enjoy that.
Oh my gosh! Enjoy thing. Hold on,
enjoy that.
Oh, that looks familiar, and I'm glad I don't have memories of. I don't think I ever watched whatever that was.
yeah. It's. I don't think I've ever watched it like in full, but I've seen it. Like I know it exists.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I could never watch shows like that. Anything that was uncanny or real, I didn't like. I'm like, just give me animation. Like, give me genuine. Like, give me SpongeBob. Don't give me anything in between or anything real. Like, I didn't like Sesame Street or anything like that. It always bothered me. Seeing realistic things, animated style, growing up.
I love the Muppets, so.
Hated that too. I was like, why do they look animated? But they're real. I don't like it. It's uncanny. I hate it.
They were Muppets.
Oh my god, no, I hated it. It made me.
Yeah, but they weren't animated. They were Muppets.
Well, but I mean, like they're designed to kind of look like the same color palettes and the brightness that you would put into a cartoon, and so the uncanny thing of it would just mess with my brain. And of course, little kid me that didn't fully understand them being puppets, it made it worse.
No, I get that.
So I was like that was like my first nightmare fuel was like anything like that. The only blending of like real life and animation that I was able to deal with as like a little kid was Blue's Clues. And even then it was sometimes too uncanny. I was like, oh, this is weird. I had like the biggest fear of things like blending like that. I was like, ooh, I don't like it.
I hope you never watched Fraggle Rock.
Watch the what?
Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock?
It was another Jim Henson production.
Oh God. What even?
Wait, what about the Dark Crystal? Like the old movie.
Oh God, I think I've seen these things before, but the Dark Crystal. Oh God, no. Yes, I've seen
What?
it. No, this is horror. This is nightmare fuel. Hate this.
Okay.
And definitely, like 4 or 5-year-old me would have freaking not slept for 3 days. That face of those protagonists is horrendous. Whatever this mouth creature is
Dark
horrendous.
Crystal. I can see it. I can
This needs
see
to
it
be
in my
burnt.
head.
This needs to be burnt. This needs to be burnt to the ground. Burn it down. Kill it now. I've been watching Alien Earth. This needs to burn more. For some reason, also, this list considers Slender as a mascot horror. And I'm like, no.
I don't ever go off those lists because I feel like mascot horror, some people literally just put it as, oh, there's a character that this is based around, it's mascot horror.
Yeah. I mean, most of these seem good. I mean, like, it says, you know, FNAF. It says, what the fuck is this? Spacky's Night Shift? You know what I mean? Sure.
There's a lot of just such weird ones.
Yeah, man. Greg's Deadly Draft. I feel like I've heard of this one. Oh my, it's just a big shark. It's just a big shark. Muscular shark dude. I mean, I wouldn't be scared of that. Just saying. Just saying.
Anyway. back to mascot horror.
Oh, oh, I mean, it's so scary. Oh no.
Oh,
Big muscular shark man in a football outfit for some reason. I don't know why he's wearing a football outfit, but Choo Choo Charles is on this list too.
Choo Choo Charles is amazing. I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love Choo Choo Charles.
Mm-hmm. And the infamous and endless Garden of Banban.
I have said this multiple times. When they have finally finished it and there's a full collection that I can purchase, I will play it. Until then, no.
Yeah, it's didn't they just drop 9, I think?
They just dropped 8.
8, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the anti-devil, yes. Whatever that
Now,
means.
a lot of people are saying it's amazing. A lot of people are saying it's really good. Gotten a lot of positive reviews. So,
88%
you know what?
on Steam.
That's good. Especially for horror, that's good. Like, with horror games, 70% is your average for a lot of horror games on Steam. 70% is a pretty standardized average. And some of the best horror games I've played have 70%, like 76%. So.
Silent Hill Forte has an 86. Nice.
I feel like that game is surprising a lot of people in different ways. Like, I remember some people saying it doesn't feel too much like Silent Hill. It feels like different. So, I'll see how that one goes. You got to let me know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out because the criticisms that I've heard so far is that the combat's kind of weird, and not in the sense that, like, oh, it's like an abnormal thing for clunky combat in Silent Hill, because that's kind of the point. They designed the games to be kind of clunky to make it harder to survive and make it more tense, but they mean by, like, apparently the mob density is really high, and so you spend a lot of the game fighting rather than being horrified of things, which is innately detracts from a lot of the ambient horror that Silent Hill is known for. And so that's what a lot of people's criticism seem to be, is that, like, a lot of the dread and horror that exists in Silent Hill is being left in the eerie ambience, the fog, and all of that, and your mind just starts freaking you out more than the actual, like, entities. But then apparently the game's just like, you want to fight 6 consecutive, like, leg sewn women at the same time, and it's like, so I'm a little bit worried about that. What I've been advised on by people and by streamers and stuff is that when I play it, to actually genuinely play it my first time on story mode, because hard mode is just going to frustrate you and it's going to take you out of the game. So as much as I was going to play it on hard, I think I'll take the advice and just play it on story, so the combat is a little bit smoother and I get through it quicker and I can just enjoy the immersion of the story, because apparently the story is like Silent Hill 2-level quality, so it's very good.
Okay, that's good.
So.
As long as the story, like, the story is what's important. I don't know how long it is. I'm expecting like 16 something hours for it.
Yeah, probably. Can I look that up? Average. Playtime of Silent Hill Forte.
Just
10 to 12 hours.
not as wow, kind of short, but okay.
Yeah, but it has multiple endings, so.
That
Silent Hill
makes
games
sense.
tend to have.
Yeah.
So.
I'm waiting to see what the joke ending is.
To see different story paths and endings and may take between multiple endings, and multiple playthroughs are necessary to achieve blah 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 blah. Yeah, it takes about 16 hours and it's going to be your first run's probably gonna be 12 to 13 hours.
Okay.
To complete the game currently it's supposedly 28 hours and 28 and a half hours, so
That's not bad.
that's about Silent Hill 2 duration.
Yeah.
I guess, so
I'm so used to, like, I have such like a perfect like separation between what games I consider short, what games I consider, like, there are, you have the 10 minutes, an hour range. You then have the hour to 2 hour, then you have the 2 hour to 4 hour range. Then anything after that 4 hour range goes from 4 to like 10.
yeah.
And like how they're built up, because most Mascot horror is like your first chapter, because most of them come out in chapters. First chapter is usually like 30 minutes to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Second chapter is usually about an hour to 2 hours, and every chapter after that is similar in length. Like, I think Poppy Playtime, the way I saw their hours broken down, is like 30 minutes for chapter 1, 2 hours for chapter 2, and I think the most recent one was like 3 to 4 hours. Like, they kept increasing in, because they're trying to make a really big game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what you said. 30 minutes chapter 1, 2 is 2 to 2.5 hours, 3 is 3 to 6 hours.
Yeah, it got completely, was like, wait, where are we going?
Yeah, I remember.
Because you got a game like Sinking City, which is what I consider like a good story-based length for a horror game, is 4 hours.
Oh,
No,
an
not
Eldritch
Sinking
game.
City. Fucking what? Still Wakes the Deep. My bad. Still Wakes the Deep.
The other
The
Eldritch
one on the oil
okay.
rig. The other Eldritch one that I still need to play, and the only reason I haven't is because recording a 4 hour game is not the easiest thing for me, so I gotta time it properly. But I think 4 hours is like my sweet spot for like a horror game, because you can still beat it in one sitting, and if it's done well, you're not exhausted by the end of it. I think is like the number one thing, because especially with like Mascot horror games, you tend to get really tired out. Like, especially if you think about like Bendy, and you get to chapter 3, and you want to gouge your brain out.
Right, yeah.
When Alice is just having you fetch everything, you're just like, can we please stop?
Can I do
This
anything,
stopped
literally
being
anything
scary
else?
like an hour and a half ago. Can we stop?
Yep. I was actually looking up Still Wakes the Deep just now. I was curious what the ratings were like on it. Most people put it at like a 9 out of 10. It has 97% on Google. But then you have IGN being contrarian and making it a 6 out of 10.
I don't trust IGN.
I don't
They
either.
lost their credibility with me, like, always.
I sped read the article just now, and it's essentially them like just. It sounds like they're just like not immersed. It just sounds like they're like, the gameplay loop is you pull some levers and you turn some valves and sometimes get chased. So that's the game, and I'm like,
Sounds about right.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what do you want it to do? Like, I'm like, do you want Dead Space? Do you want like him to have like a nail gun and start shooting these things? Like, I don't know what you want. Like, that's not the kind of game. That's not the kind of game it is. So, I don't know. That's
Okay.
IGN's like a
IGN's
company.
IGN.
A company.
They are a company of all time. That
And
is.
it switches between them and like GameSpot whenever they review stuff. It's like a streamer I watch was like, I always assume that the actual rating a game deserves is usually between whatever GameSpot and IGN puts it as. It's like it's the between, because one of them always lowballs and one of them always highballs. And so one of them's always like, this is the best thing since like fucking the original Call of Duty came out. It's like the best thing ever. And then like the other one's just like, I don't know, man. It's uninspired. I feel like they just like exist to have a contrary opinion to each other. And so he's always like, yeah, it's just somewhere in the middle. And so it was funny because I think it was one of the two of them said like Silent Hill F was like a 7 or a 6 out of 10, and the other one said like it was like a 9 out of 10. So he's like, I'm gonna put it at like an 8. He's like, I bet you it's gonna be about an 8. And then by the end of him playing the entire game, he was like, yeah, it's about an 8. So it is, genuinely. He was like, I was right. Good. But I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for it. And on the topic of like the Mascot horror, I am excited for seeing what they do with Indigo Park, but I'm also very cautious about it because I can't say that I fully enjoyed the first chapter. So I'm kind of hoping that they hook me with the second chapter whenever that comes out in 2076 or whatever comes out. But
I can see that they're trying to release chapter 2 by the end of this year.
Okay.
I follow the Kickstarter and like all the updates on it because I think I agree with you where the first chapter had a lot of points, but the high points it had were really high.
Yeah, like I loved the actual like Rambly. I loved Rambly. I think the environments and the designs of them were pretty cool, but they just it felt like they kept like it felt like having a car that just like the engine won't start. You keep revving it and you're like, oh, it's gonna start. You hear the thing start to turn over and you're like, yeah, and then it just kind of stopped. And it kind of felt like that for a lot of points where I was like, you're getting right to where I want you to be with this game, and then they just kind of dialed it back. And I was like, no, keep going. Like that's exactly what I want.
I mean, isn't that what you get? What you want from like that free trailer is just nothing but jing.
No.
That's what you get. It's a taste. It's a taste to keep you coming back.
I don't want the taste. I want a full functioning product that makes me enjoy it and expect and anticipate the next part to be of a decent quality. Like okay, just diving into Indigo Park specifically. The first thing that bothered me was like they kept edging you with something following you, which is fine. It was like, okay, there's like the birds following you or whatever. And I'm like, ooh, something's following you. And I'm like, ooh, that's creepy. That's fine. But then the first time you're supposed to actually engage with something is when you encounter the lion. And what happens in that place? Literally nothing. You hear sound effects the entire time, and then the only time you get to actually see it is in a cutscene. And I'm like, and I'm just like, it was so disappointing. I'm like, I wanted to get chased. I wanted to have something. I wanted it to like dash out between the stuff in the room, anything. Like it just like it kept being edged. It's like you walk into the room and you hear the growl and you're like, ooh, and then you walk through and then it growls again and you're like, ooh, and then it comes out from under the thing and then the thing falls on it and it's just like, ooh, oh, okay, all right, it's gonna get me next time, and then you continue going through and it's just like, ooh, and then nothing happens and then you're like, okay, surely when I come walking back, it's gonna get me. And like I guess like if you're somebody who's prone to being scared easily, the tension and the not payoff would be great because you're gonna sit there and be like, oh, am I safe? Like I'm scared. I'm like, you're slowly walking back to the front of the place again. But for me, who's not scared, I was just chasing something. I'm literally chasing the lion down. I'm like, I want to see it. I want to interact with it. I want to have a confrontation with it. And instead, all that happened was some support beams fell on it and it pounced me and then reeled away as my little watch scared it away. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, you're just edging me too much. And then that continued throughout the rest of it. But then it changed who your antagonist was and it just kind of, it's there, but it doesn't do anything. And I'm like, it's one of those moments where they did a little too little. Like, I don't like when things are constantly jumping at you and chasing you and doing whatever, but I felt like it didn't do any of that. And so I kind of just like expected for the rest of the chapter for basically nothing to happen. And I was correct. Nothing happened until the very end sequence when you're technically being chased. And I was just like, and that's where it kind of missed me. So I'm hoping that they commit a bit more to some of the scares and the additional attention, and they don't just edge me through the second chapter again. Because that disappointed me a little bit.
That's fair.
You do need to have some payoff to the tension. You can't just be like the entire thing is just tension. It's like that's the exact opposite of it. You don't want it to be Outlast 2 where it's just constant adrenaline, but you also don't want the exact opposite where it's all just tension. You need that balance. You need that yin and yang. So
yeah, and this is their first game, which is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's really nice to see like the development updates and how they're. I'm expecting Chapter 2 to be a lot better. Like you, I'm hesitant on it with anything chapter related. I'm always like temper my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely one of those ones where I thought everything weak about it, barring all the kind of middling stuff in it, had me kind of hopeful.
Yeah.
To where it's going.
We'll definitely see. I'm hoping that it's not just me basically playing it because I want to see more Rambly.
I mean, to be fair, Rambly is like just one of the best mascots I've seen in one of these games in a long time.
It's because there's actual persona, like there's actual like personality to it. Like you can definitely have a favorite FNAF animatronic, but you don't ever interact with the animatronics. Like that's the thing until I guess Security Breach, but sister location, but yeah, but like you usually don't interact with them in any way, so you don't really get to see like any personality. So that's kind of the case, and there's still obviously that skeptical part of your brain where you're like, is Rambly friendly? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like
I think that's where Spooky's really shines, is the personality.
Yeah. Yep.
Because a lot of mascot horror, you kind of get that whole, there's a suit, there's this character, and they're trying to kill me.
But why?
Got it.
Okay, because they're dead or something.
Because they're dead. They're inhabiting a suit, like a body, an animatronic, a soul, something. But then you have stuff like Spookies where it's just like, oh, okay then. And then you actually get the story and you're like, oh, okay then.
Yeah. And it's not like, again, it's also not just like monologue the game either. It's not like someone's just sitting there going like, well, Spooky died at this time and this happened and blah 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 and tragic event number 63 and like it's like it's fed to you over time, and that's a nice component of it. I like uncovering and unwrapping a story, and I like even when there's subtlety beyond it. So like that's why like FNAF was always very interesting to me, was because there was like a clear and direct like course for the story, but then there was all these little additives and little Easter eggs and little side things that happened that had expanded lore. And I think honestly, you know, I think a lot of it was community written. I think a lot of stuff got written by people theorizing, 100%. And Scott Cawthon was just like yoink, but like
I definitely feel like he was just like, I'll take that one, take that one,
yes.
I'll take that one. Can you write my next book for me in my next game, please?
Yes.
I'll take that one and that one.
Like, I think he did a good job setting up the skeleton, but I think a lot of stuff he probably pocketed for himself, which is which normally I would condemn that, but I think it's kind of an interesting facet in how FNAF is, because it kind of always felt like such a collaborative work, because everybody was like so into its secrets, into all of these little things, that it kind of felt like, you know, we all just kind of built up what FNAF is. Nowadays it feels a little bit less like Security Breach and the Mimic was clearly more like on their side of it, because there was less involvement from other people and a lot of that stuff. But at least the original numerical games, I think, were definitely kind of like a crowd kind of came together and kind of united and expanded that universe, which is really nice. It's the same feeling of playing like Warframe and stuff like that, and it's definitely like a story that we all wrote together and whatnot, and theoried and whatnot. It's cool to see that, but yeah, personality is like a big thing for, I think, the longevity, especially with a chapter-based game. I have to have a reason to kind of want to watch, like play it. It can't just be the scares, which I'm hoping Indigo Park continues to have other things, and I hope there's other characters besides Rambly too that I might enjoy, that we're going to interact with head on, and I don't just mean them chasing me. I'm hoping there's others. And I'm also hoping, low-key, that Rambly isn't just like dead kid trapped in AI or something, because that would be a...
I really just want him to be a malfunctioning AI that cares about the... I genuinely just want him to be what he appears to be.
Yeah.
I don't care if there is a twist that he is evil and trying to get you to fix the park for nefarious purposes. I don't care if he really just wants to fix the park and cares about it because this is what he's programmed to do. I just don't want... That's the thing. So that's what killed me with Shipwrecked, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was my only complaint with Shipwreck 64. For anyone who hasn't gone through the entire RG, I'm going to spoil a tiny bit about it because it is like a full-blown ARG when you are playing that game. It's kind of crazy with how far you go into like deep different layers of this game. But at the end, it was just like people died inside suits and were brought back to life by some stupid reanimating thing. And I was like, you had these amazing setups. You had all this amazing stuff. And it just came back to like, there's something in a suit.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm so excited for Giggleland, is because the game itself in the ARG is like the malicious entity. Like the programming in the game. And you can see that in a lot of the screenshots, the different like websites you can go to from the store page.
Is that the one that has like the weird screenshot thing that happens?
Yeah, it has like the screenshot. It literally shows you on the front page on Steam, like one of the pictures is like a bunch of error popping up in the code in the game because the actual game itself is wrong. And so like stuff like that. So I'm more excited for that, I think, than on anything else. From what I've heard, the demo's great. I haven't played it yet. I've been waiting. But I think out of everything that is coming out Mascot Horror, I'm most excited for the next game from the guys who did Shipwreck 64 and Giggleland. Because Giggleland is turning into one hell of an AR if you're actually following it. And I love that stuff. I think when Mascot Horror kind of like takes its own identity, I think that's why I don't consider Slender Mascot Horror any like creepypasta thing Mascot Horror, because I feel like, yeah, it's based around an entity, but then you can literally just say, oh, the new Halloween game, it's Mascot Horror. No.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Which I forgot until this exact moment that was happening again.
Yep. That's the thing. They just released another trailer for it. But I feel like Mascot Horror, the world it's built around, and because it's always around a theme, right? Five Nights at Freddy's, Fazbear's, all of that stuff, or like a restaurant or a game studio, an amusement park, theme park, arcade, whatever it is, it has to have that and heavily rotate around the personality with the visuals. Is I think what really sets a Mascot Horror game apart, because everything has a theme. Every horror game has a theme. Every horror aspect has a theme to it. But I think Mascot Horror leans more into the fun, jovial kind of theme.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
One thing I've been really liking to see, and I don't really consider these I don't know what to consider them, but the horror games where you're playing a video game inside, like the actual game, and then trying to survive around it while things are going wrong.
Yeah, I've played a couple of those.
I've been seeing a lot more stuff like that, so that I really want to check out more. And those kind of themes to me are always really... It's more that kind of, let's do something that is innocent in nature, fun in nature, that we have nostalgia memories for, and let's make it scary. I think that is what Mascot Horror leans into the most. And I think it honestly comes from like the old Chuck E. Cheese animatronics and costumes and stuff like that being so terrifying to kids.
So terrifying. I hated those, man. People would be like, oh, I'm so afraid of clowns. I was like, I'm fine with clowns. I fuck with clowns. I'm like, but you take me to one of those animatronic places? Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, like a lot of the themed restaurants from when you were a kid that are not around anymore. that had all that stuff. I think that's what they lend themselves to, and I get it. It's terrifying. it's an extremely.
I'm laughing because I just the core memory unlocked. I remember I went to a Chuck E. Cheese and they had the fucking animatronics, and my mom was like, "Hey, honey, go take a picture with Chucky," and I was like, "I'm good," and she's like, "No, I want a picture with you and him," and I was like, "I'm good, Mom," and she's like, "No, go ahead," and so she basically like coerced me onto the stage, and we were allowed to take photos with them, and so I was like standing next to it, and there's a picture somewhere out there of me with the most like forced smile on my face ever as I'm just like, please get me away from this thing, it's going to kill me. And it was just like the most insane thing, and I just remember that was a core memory of being forced to take a picture with Chuck E. Cheese and being like, I don't like this, I don't like it at all, and she just like scarred it for me. I was like, Mom, we're never going to Chuck E. Cheese again, please.
Not again. Not again.
Never again. I don't think I went again until I was like 16 or something and went for like a friend's little brother's party or some shit like that. But I was just like, holy shit. I was scared. I was like, no. You are not making me go up there. And she's just like, come on, honey, please. It's just one photo. And I'm like, can you not tell I'm scared, mother? Please, mother. Why do you do this to me, mother?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's fair though. Like those things are terrifying. Like, I don't know if you watch Defunct Land. On YouTube. They just put out this like 2-hour-long video on the history of animatronics and like in Disney, and how they made everything and how they looked and the uncanny valley of everything. And I think when I think of Mascot horror, that's always what I think about. Not so much animatronics, just so much more that theme.
Yeah. Well, it's like that was one of my core fears growing up, was like things doing things that they shouldn't. So I'm like, that thing is not alive and it's moving, and so that's a problem. Like that's I think what was my disconnect whenever I saw like an animatronic. It was just like, that is a doll, essentially a doll, and it's moving, and I don't like that. And like, of course, like being a child and not fully understanding like the mechanisms behind it, and maybe someone's piloting, maybe and maybe not, but like not fully understanding it. And it's just like, thing that should not move is moving. It looks kind of creepy because I don't know why everybody has to make their mascots look horrendous. And then like, I don't know why they can't just put like a cutesy little fucking head on, but they instead, opt for a microwave looking rat. But and then I'm just like, I don't like this. I don't like this. And then you hear like the mechanics in it, if you get close enough to it, moving and whirring, and it's like, I hated
like
it.
Growling, and you're scared. You're just like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Please go away.
I think part of me was just, I also think I was just scared of it like malfunctioning and jerking or doing something, and it hit me or something, and I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want this. I don't want the risk of this thing like exploding or something. I don't know.
Input Markiplier screaming, was that the bite of 87?
Is that the bite? I'm about to get bite of 87. Like, oh. The amount of animatronics I was put really close to. I could have been that kid. I could be an animatronic right now for all you know.
Mouth. Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, my family loved Mascot places, man. And I was like, no. I even hated taking pictures with, like, I think there's a picture of me looking terrified with Mickey Mouse at Disneyland, because I was just like, you look horrendous. You're not the Mickey I know. I don't like this. And, so there's a picture of like 4 or 5-year-old me with that same smile as the animatronic situation next to Mickey Mouse in a suit.
I just thought of the what is it, the creepypasta? Hey, want to see my head come off?
Exactly.
I just heard that echo in my brain.
Exactly. I did not like uncanny or unexplicable things, and that's what bothered me the most as a kid. I'm better now, but like I still look at animatronics sometimes. I'm just like, I don't like that still. Still don't like that. But mostly from the mechanical idea of it malfunctioning, not that it's going to be possessed by a malicious spirit or something. I don't trust machines.
I feel like Mascot horror kind of always ends up in the same, right? I think the unique ones are the ones where, because even even with Indigo Park, it looked like when Molly gets decapitated at the very end, it looked like there was blood. So is someone just in the damn suit, or did the suit come alive? Which one is it?
Yeah.
There's only so many directions, and I think that's the saddest thing when like a medium is limited, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can definitely do some other things, but it's always going to come down to something's inhabiting that. It's going to be something organic. It's going to be something like supernatural. It's going to be a curse. It's going to be something. And I feel like that's the one thing why Mascot horror feels so stale to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Is because there literally is only so much that can be done about what the entity is or like what's happening, and it's just you have to find a new way to tell the same story that everyone else is. And what I haven't seen is like anything like extraterrestrial or parasite. Like you can have a lot of different things with different monsters. Like you can have like an organic life forms in it, but is that organic life form human?
Well, there was an idea I had, a game theory. Here we go again with me giving people free ideas. But I had me and some friends, we were talking about, what would we do for like our own like mascot horror game or movie or something like that around the time, I think around FNAF 3 or 4 era. And the idea that we had come up with was not necessarily that it's just like something necessarily just inhabiting something. It was that someone created a theme park around the idea of essentially an eldritch creature. And so there was someone who ended up seeing in a book or in some kind of like, I don't know, so somewhere they saw some source of this thing and it fanaticized them, and they just became so fixated over it because that's what it does. And then they were like, I'm gonna make a park around this. And so they made an amusement park that proceeded to become popular in town, and it was crazy. It's like, oh yeah, we have our own amusement park, our own mascots and stuff. But the more people continued to be around this thing that was based on this other thing, they became fixated with the idea, and so then it became something like, it became part of the town's personality. And the next thing you know, this mascot's synonymous with the town and everything around it. And it becomes kind of like a Silent Hill scenario where the entire town is now just like these almost like religious zealots that are just like, this thing is the best thing that has ever existed. And so you would follow someone who is externally coming into this town and kind of unfoiling this plot of everybody around just being so obsessed with this mascot and this brand that was established in this town. And at first it would start with just kind of like normal stuff where people were like, oh yeah, you should go check out the park and blah 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 blah, and like it's kind of normal. And then it just starts getting like eerier as the layers get peeled back, and you're kind of seeing like, oh no, they're not well, these people are not well, like they're this is like they're looking at this like God. And like as it continues to go on, and so then the game would kind of have a flow where it's not necessarily just like, ooh, scary mannequin or animatronic or possessed thing is after you, but genuinely cultists that are after you because they're like worshiping and following this old ancient god. And then so then you would have to probably find some way to either just escape or to purge this entity from the town, thus freeing everybody from its enchantment, I guess. And so like that, I thought that'd be like a really cool way to kind of do around it and not just do your conventional, just like, oh yeah, whatever. And you can have some nice creepy moments because anything and everything that is identified as this entity acts as an eye for it. And so like you could have nice creepy moments where you have like you go into a gift shop and there's little dolls of the thing, and you go in
what I was thinking, yeah.
and you look at them and then you look away and you look back and the head turned towards you or something, like nice little weird things like that, but nothing else happens. That's it. It's just watching you and little things, or you walk past a poster on a wall and the eyes followed you, and it's just little eerie things like that. But it doesn't have to jump at you. It doesn't. You don't have to get chased by a mascot. If you get chased, down by like what looks like somebody in a mascot suit, it might genuinely just be a cultist in a mascot suit. And so like it's kind of like, I think that'd be like an interesting way to kind of mesh like the vibe of Silent Hill and then the vibe of mascot horror and kind of make it like its own little thing. Was the idea that we had like kind of thought boarded together.
That's a good one. And see, that's the thing. you have to think about, and then you turn it into something different, like a good blend of ideas. But I think the whole conversation is always right. Is Mascot horror like overrated? Is it overdone? And I will always answer truthfully. Yes, I love the genre, but it is very much overdone. It is very much oversaturated, and I think that's the reason is that it always boils down to like one of three themes.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that's the main reason. Like, if the design is good, if the atmosphere is built right, if the story is given in your own direction, I think it's great.
Yeah.
But then someone will look at it and be like, oh, it's just the same thing as this. And
Well, it's like,
you know what? I mean, fair.
It's one of those things where it's like you look at any other established horror thing. So like every other like thing that we spoke about so far, slashers, creature flicks, whatever, ghosts, demons, whatever. These horror concepts, first off, we've been telling these exact stories for millennia. Like, it's been forever. We've these stories of these slasher situations or these paranormal situations. They are deeply rooted in the culture of humanity itself. And then, you know, in more recent time, through the production of media, you know, we've been having those things since like the 50s and you know, stuff like that being prominent. But mascot horror, where it has existed before, it's really only like a decade old as far as being popular. And so it's kind of like you got like this time capsule of like everybody sticking their hand in the cookie jar in a short time frame. And I think that's why it's exhausting a bit, because like there's probably just as many of one of these other genres, but that's spanned out over like, you know, 80 years compared to, you know, you look at mascot horror and it's just under the magnifying glass of 10 to 15 years where everything just kind of popped and exploded. And so it's just like, that's why it ends up being like oversaturated, because it's such a it's everywhere but in such a short time frame. And it isn't helped by the fact that everybody just tried to recreate FNAF rather than innovate for the longest period of time. And it's only recently that people are innovating, and that's because, well, they probably also realize it's overdid at this point too. So
I think I saw a lot of people when FNAF first came out, or even when Slender first, like, it happened with Slender.
yeah,
Like, when Slender first came out, the amount of Slender clones that existed were insane. Like, and Slender is a much simpler plot. Even you run around, you collect 8 things while something chases you.
Yep.
That's it. The way Slender did it, the original, fantastic. I still love Slender the 8 pages. But the amount of copycats afterwards literally just doing the exact same thing. I feel like, and I don't mean to be cynical with this. But when a group of people see something that works, they want to immediately jump on it.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, it worked for that person, I got to do it too. It's like, no. And I feel like that's the same thing with mascot horrors. You have a lot of people who are like, oh, making a mascot horror game's easy. I'm gonna do this too. Like, no, you're not. Like, you see the merch potential for plushies, you see the merch potential for stickers, and all these different things, and a fan base that's gonna back you for whatever, because you saw a select few blow up.
Yeah.
Because you saw a select few games get big and make the creator millions of dollars overnight. That does not mean you can do it too. You are more than welcome to try. But if, when you go to create something, your only thought is, I can do it too, not, I really want to make this thing, you're not doing it for the reason that they actually got big and succeeded.
Right. Right.
Like, there's this whole thing, especially with content creation and anything where it's like, you see the few outliers, like, we know outliers who became partners within a year of starting streaming. We have friends that we know who are like big creators after just starting.
Yeah.
They are like the lucky few.
They're anomalies.
That is not how it happens. 90% of content creators who've been doing it for years are still at like 10 average viewers.
Yeah.
Or not, and they're just doing it. But you have so many people who are just like, I'm seeing all these other people that do it, and they're making money, and they're doing all this stuff, and I can do it too. It's like, no.
Yeah.
If you genuinely want to try something, do it. Follow the dopamine, have fun, and succeed it. If anyone ever enters something with the mindset of, everyone else is doing it, I can do it too, I can profit off of it because it is such a lucrative market. When that's the primary mindset that I see in a lot of these,
Yeah.
that's when we get this whole thing of like, oh god, just a Poppy Playtime clone. Oh, here's just a Five Nights at Freddy's clone. What are you doing? That's why a lot of fan games are usually free. That's why a lot of like games that are literally based on like different properties are usually free, is because people are making them because they love that thing, not because they want to profit off of it.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what we fall into a lot with Mascot horror. We fall into this with a lot of things. Once something gets popular in gaming, roguelikes, Metroidvanias, Souls-likes, all of these,
even just under the scope of like
ridiculous
of horror. I mean, Outlast led to a bunch of people doing the found footage thing of like being like, oh, okay, we gotta have the night vision camera experience, and then you had the demo PT came out, and everybody had to have the surreal looping games, which they're still doing, mind you. Everyone's still doing that.
Yes, they are.
There are still so many PT clones even now, a decade after that came out.
And then you had Exit 8.
Yep, everybody popped on the Exit 8 wagon, which that, though, I think was mostly isolated to Japan, though. Like, a majority of the ones that are exactly like Exit 8 are Japanese, and I feel like that was kind of like a bubble there.
No,
but
for everywhere else, it was Observation Duty.
Observation Duty was, the global kind of...
I'm on Observation Duty was the one that kind of started doing that anomaly finding.
Yeah. Did you know
those are some of the most popular games.
Did you know that there's an Exit 8 movie?
What?
I think it came out this year. Yeah, there's an Exit 8 movie that has an actual plot line, and it follows a dude in that same hallway looping. I saw it, and I wanted to watch it.
Heard about it?
Yeah, it just exists.
I think I've heard about it, yeah.
But it exists, but it's only through a specific Japanese like provider. And so it's not streaming anywhere else. I even tried to to look on the high seas, and the only one I found was a really bad quality recording of somebody recording like a movie theater or something like that. And I'm like, it just doesn't exist online. And I'm like, I want to watch this. I'm like, I genuinely want to watch this. Like, put this on something else. Put this on Netflix, Hulu, something like, or just drop it as a rental or a digital purchase or something. I'm like, I will watch this. I'm like, this seems interesting. And it seems like they have like a kind of narrative plot going with it. So he's looping and trying to spot the differences, and they kind of frame it like he's derailing into insanity. Like the trailer shows him like going through the loops over and over again and being like, same door, same ground, same sign, same door, same ground, same sign, the lights flickering, the same door, the same ground. It's just that's like half the trailer. It's just him like just meticulously going in this mental loop where he's clearly losing his mind doing this. And it's such an interesting idea, but then suddenly a change would happen and he'd start understanding more and more of what's going on. And I'm like, I want to see this. This looks so fucking cool, but I can't find it anywhere that I can actually watch it in a tolerable manner, unfortunately. I'm so mad. It looks so good. But yeah,
that I saw like a trailer for it. I think I saw someone pop up about it. So if you do find it, let me know, because I'd love to watch that.
I will try. I need to look up the I think it said that it was like either streaming or a part of some like Japanese network, so maybe I'll see if they have like an app for that network and see if maybe I could find it and VPN into Japan or something like that to try to see it. It's like the same thing with I know this is derailing from the topic, but it's the same thing with a band I enjoy called Maximum the Hormone. You can't find half their shit in the West. Like you have to buy like you have to buy like an album from Japan and have it shipped here, and $70 later. You know, it's like it's so hard to get
Yeah.
some of these things, unfortunately. The same with Japanese horror. There's a lot of things in Japanese horror movies that I've only been able to watch because someone had some obscure copy of it, and us watching it, I felt like I was gonna get cursed from like The Ring or something, because it was just like this this thing that they had to like obscurely get, where they had to talk to this one friend that they have in Japan who smuggled it basically here, and like now we're watching this film and it doesn't have subtitles, so we're like trying to figure this out, and like I'm getting cursed, man. I'm getting cursed by this
Like,
movie.
we dying tonight, but
dying.
it was worth it.
It was worth it. We saw a cool movie.
Okay.
But yeah, people jump on the trend like bandwagon too hard without innovating, and it does make things very quickly tiresome, and it gets very beaten down. Like again, mentioning the PT clones, like that also was something that I really enjoyed, and then people just kind of made 6 million of them because everybody wanted to recreate the charm of it.
I think that's one genre of horror games I haven't played a lot.
Good.
To be honest, I think I have Suite 776 in my library, and I think that's the only one that is of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Because I missed PT. I didn't get to play when it came out, unfortunately, which is sad. But I can see the appeal from it. I'm excited for OD. I'm excited for Kojima's new game.
Mm-hmm.
Got that little teaser, and I'm foaming at the mouth. I want it. I need it.
Yeah, it looks pretty damn good.
But I don't even know if it's not even about not innovating. It's like, it's not, to me, it's not about not innovating. Because you can make a game that has the same fundamental mechanics and designs, and it can still be good.
Yeah, I mean, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Dino Crisis are all basically the same game, but they have their own identities from how they present that horror. So, like, you know, Silent Hill has more of a narrative-driven, atmospheric kind of thing to it. There's more puzzles with Resident Evil, and Dino Crisis is more action. So, yeah.
I think what it boils down to is a lack of understanding of why it works. Yeah. Everyone jumps in being like, I can do it too, without taking the time to ask themselves why it worked.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what actually made it? Because, like, I love Souls games. I love Metroidvanias, and I love roguelikes. They're some of my favorite games, and I'm playing Hades 2 like crazy right now. I absolutely adore those kind of games. The amount of Souls-like slop that is.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. If they would just make a game that has the same fundamentals in a different setting, it would be fine. It would be fine. But there's no understanding as to why the games work. Yeah. And I think that's always what it is. Like, I don't care about innovation. If you want to give me something similar to I already enjoy and tell your own story, fine. Give me almost the exact same movesets, the same mechanics. I understand it. I can then jump in and immediately understand your story. Cool. But majority of the time, it's just like they see things, and like Souls-likes are a perfect example. Metroidvanias are a perfect example for this. They're like, oh, we just got to make the game hard. And it's a Souls-like.
Yeah, true.
No!
What? It's not just that? It's not just that with a roll mechanic and a parry mechanic and a backstab mechanic? What?
No, because if you are someone who's played through the Souls games, you run through it in like a couple hours now, because it's one of the easiest games there is after you've played it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely insane that it's the difficulty, but it's kind of a fair difficulty that makes you feel accomplished when you're done with it, with tight combat controls and stamina management and resource management. There are so many of them. It's like, oh, one roll takes away your whole stamina bar. What? You got this dude running at me with 4 attacks. No, so you just make it unplayable. That's not the fundamentals of this genre. And I feel like when you go to Mascot Horror, everyone's like, okay, We need a cute character. We need jump scares, and we need the souls of children. Let's go. I'm like, no. And it just becomes this whole just like, I don't even know what to call it, like this just pile of the same thing being just taken and spat out, and just taking what they think the game is and why it works with no why it works. Yeah. No understanding as to what makes Amanda the Adventure good, what made FNAF good, what made Spookies good. Instead of like thinking about those things, they're just like, oh, we got this. No. I think that's why Finding Frankie is, I think, one of my favorite examples in recent Mascot horror. Just because they were right following the heels of Fall Guys getting popular, and they're like, you know what? This would make a really fun setting, a game show like this with a mascot chase with... I don't think I've ever played a horror game with parkour controls in my life that are responsive like Mirror's Edge. I don't think that has ever happened to me, and that was not what I was expecting. But the controls were very well tuned. They made the game like very friendly for speedrunners with how you can play it. And they just set it around the premise of this game show and no one surviving the game show. And they focused on the gameplay and the world they built.
Yeah.
And that was just fun. I also really like the song they use in last bit. Like, hearing a dubstep song in like 2024 crazy and wild to me.
It is aging, actually. It's very aging. It's something. Yeah, I completely get though the like, you know, what makes something a part of that genre and why it made something successful though. Like a lot of people, like thinking about a lot of the clones of FNAF that came out, a lot of them were just like, yeah, so we have you stationary, controlling cameras and lights, and occasionally you get jump scared. So have fun with that. But there was like so much more to it because it kind of, first off, the game kind of came out of nowhere. That was like a big part of it. Like I think there was a lot of obscurity. Just kind of like, not that Scott Cawthon hasn't made games before, but that was like the first horror game he made. And that kind of just came out of nowhere. And then everyone starts playing it, and you're immediately dropped just into it. There's no foreplay. You're just immediately in the seat in the office,
and you're there.
Yeah, you're like, just in there. You hear the fan going. You hear the ventilation. Everything's kind of quiet. Otherwise, all you can do is pan left and right. Like that's all you can do. And then you get that fabled phone call. Hello, hello, hello. And then it begins, and you're in it, and you're immediately dropped in, and you're known immediately that there are some nice quirky animatronics in the place, and you're like, oh shit. And then you're just kind of in it with these doors, and all you hear is the sounds of pots and pans and things being knocked around the facility, and it's such an interesting idea, and you're just in it. But a lot of that charm also isn't there when someone else immediately makes like the same thing, and they just make like a jump scare machine, because like there is no intrigue necessarily, and there is no immediate just kind of like, what is this? You're like, okay, it's FNAF. So what are you gonna do that's gonna make me care about it being FNAF? And then most of the time it's just jump scares and probably a story about dead kids, and you're like, okay, well.
I'm gonna go. Okay, this is we have FNAF at home. Got it.
I'm out. Yeah, FNAF at home. Yeah, like. I remember the first FNAF, if you want to call it clone, that really caught my eye was The Joy of Creation. When that came out, I was like, oh shit! Like you're moving around this house, like that's crazy. Mm-hmm. That was insane.
The other thing about not a Five Nights at Freddy's clone that did me in, like when looking at a lot of them, was it's again, they didn't understand fundamentally what made the game work, because a lot of them were just impossible.
Yeah,
they tried to make it as hard as they could. It literally felt like someone who played the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. They got killed by Foxy about 1 billion times. They're like, okay, this game's impossible. I know what to do.
I know what to do. You're gonna have to manage
because
6 things at once.
there are so many moments in like a lot of the clones that were just like, oh, I'm dead now. Why? Oh, no reason. Literally no reason. RNG said 5 things, decided to gun down you at a hall.
And
Got it.
And the explanation usually was like simple. It was like, okay, occasionally turn on this light, crank this thing, and close these doors, and that's all you got to do. You do all of those things correctly, and then you die, and it's like, oh, by the way, it's another mechanic. Yeah. It's another thing that we didn't tell you. Oh my
like
God.
if Five Nights at Freddy's taught you, like Bonnie's always on the left, Chica's always on the right. Watch the clock for Foxy. Like it really kind of like helped you out, and the phone guy was there to like walk you through it all, like kind of like on. And if you messed up, like I think the one you had to learn on your own was Freddy. Like you didn't really understand the mechanics for Freddy. You die to him. You're gonna die to Freddy if he was your first play, because he's a little different. But you understand eventually. You have that aha moment. A lot of the clones just was like, oh no, you're fucking dead. And it just felt like every single one of them was entered from sister location.
Yeah.
Like so many of them just felt that. I think that's why I hate it. I have issues. I have so much hatred for sister location specifically because of that. Like,
really?
It turned into one of those games for me that I was like, I was enjoying it, I had fun, and then I spent 4 hours to get that piece of shit. And it turned into one of those things where it's like, when I was finally done, thank God I'm never fucking picking this game up again. And like, when you have something like that, it ruins an entire experience for you. It ruins an entire game for you. If you're ending... Granted, yes, it's an optional ending. I know it. Stop typing. But it was
Also
annoying.
typing.
And then literally, I looked it up. I looked it up. I was like, is this just RNG? Am I just missing something? Shit. No, it's just RNG. It was literally all RNG based. It was the only thing in most FNAF that was fully RNG based as to whether you will survive once the power goes out. Because you had to hope and pray that Ennard was far enough away. That's just garbage. But that is exactly what 90% of those FNAF clones were. It was just hope and pray. Hope and pray.
Yeah, it's yeah, that was the other issue. Yeah, people just presented it with challenge. I feel like some of those people probably just watched like Markiplier suffer on the hardest difficulties and went like, I guess this is what FNAF is. And it's like, no, it's not. That's just him being a freaking masochist.
Yeah, just him doing 20 mode. Like, that's not, no.
It's him just being like, I love this game and I'm going to try it at its hardest. But I think some people probably just saw those and were like, so that's FNAF? All right, so my game, starting at 0, is going to be that. And it's like, no, man, please. God, no. Like, God. It's just, yeah, it just made it very, it made it hard to find the diamonds in the rough because you had so many games that were either just so flat, or they were kind of just like a meme, or they were just like insanely difficult, that you had to find the ones that were truly like unique in their own right, and not necessarily unique in the sense that it's like, oh, it's not FNAF. Like, they could have been a direct FNAF clone, but like just they knew what they were doing when they constructed the game. They told a concise narrative if they were trying to tell a narrative in the first place, and it just had that, let's call it polish. I don't think that's a word, but it just had that polish and that passion behind it.
The only clone that I think stands up to that is, I think it's still going, Five Nights at Candy's. Was the only one, I think,
that kept to the formula.
That and they did not really iterate on fucking anything. They just told their own damn story. They understood what made the games work, and they made their own. And props to them, because they have like 4 games?
Yeah.
In that series? Yeah, they knew what was going on. Nothing but respect to those devs.
Yeah. And I mean, I pivot back to also Joy of Creation. However, that being said, I will say Joy of Creation is a lot more challenging at base than FNAF. Because the timings on it are brutal. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to play Joy of Creation, but it's like
Not.
if you don't get to a damn door at like the millisecond that something's about to happen, you get shredded. There is no close calls. There's no, oh my god, like Fox is coming and you quickly slam the door shut. It's like if you are not mechanically accurate, you die. But the loop isn't difficult. It stays to the true like FNAF. Like you learn the mechanics, you follow through the dance. Like that's kind of how FNAF ends up being. Is you learn the dance and then you just follow the dance. Which it follows through with that.
It becomes like muscle memory of like,
yeah.
You hear a noise, you do this, you check that, you keep going. Eventually you're pressing all the keys so quickly because your brain has been like, oh, I know what I got to do. Pulling up your monitor for like literally a second, seeing something not there, and like, okay, done. And you're just going through the motions.
I got so proud of myself when I ended up learning how to do FNAF without even using the cameras. And so that was like a fun point of just listening for the audio cues and checking the lights occasionally. And once I beat all 5 nights and I was like, shit, I did that without ever using the cameras. It felt really good because you hear everything. Every single thing has an audio cue. I was just like, I know when it's going to happen. Foxy's basically on a time loop, so you can kind of just be like, okay, it's been about this long. It's probably going to come running now. And then you just, surprise, he comes running. And so it's a little bit harder to do that on the later games because there's mechanics like having in the second one to wind up the marionette, and in the third game there is no cameras. It's just listening to breathing, which I absolutely hated. I hated that. Oh, I hated that so much. that one got me.
Fourth one.
That was the fourth one? Oh, the third one. Oh, third one was.
Fourth one's the breathing.
Third one's Springtrap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Third one. Sorry. Yes. So the third one was anxiety simulator, and then. That was anxiety simulator where I'm getting jump scared by the ghost of my own mind. And then 4 was the sleepy time bedroom one. That one actually made me uncomfortable. The other 3,
4's my favorite.
The other 3 were kind of like, okay, yeah, they're creepy or whatever. But 4 freaked me out. I was like, I don't like listening for the breathing. I don't like turning around and being like, are there things behind me? I don't like checking the closet and seeing crumpled up fucking Fox. Nope. Nope. I did not enjoy that at all.
I will always say that, in my opinion, 4 is the best in the series. I absolutely love that game. And it scared the shit out of me. The first time learning that mechanic for the breathing and the light at the door. It's like you scream, okay, I'm bad. But then just like you listen for the like, I'm good.
It also
good.
it also hits you with like so it was still like the other 3 FNAF games where you're kind of stationary playing a point and click game, but you were kind of like in a 3D space, so it's kind of also the first one that kind of made you like you're like, oh, I'm actually like moving around this bedroom, you know what I mean? Like, and that made it so much worse. Like there's something so comfy about being like, I can't move and therefore that's fine. But the fact that you theoretically could move, it was like, ooh, I don't like that at all. I will say though, I did thoroughly enjoy Sister Location. I honestly think, for me personally, Sister Location is my favorite out of all the FNAF games, and that was just because the entire game was eerie and it kept you on your toes because every single night the game changed. And so it wasn't just like, here we go again, but there's one more animatronic or a more aggressive animatronic. It was like, no, you're going through Ballora's gallery, or you're fucking with the pistons in the suit, or you're I don't know what else happened. You're just messing with cameras by instruction or whatever. Like it was nice having the different mechanics, I think, that kind of shook it up, especially being like the 5th game in the series. It's like it kind of at that point it's like you needed to do something other than just like camera manager or something like that. So it did feel nice, and having Ballora whisper to you, not Ballora, baby whisper to you all the time freaked me out. That freaked me out. I was like hearing her just be like, just like talking in her soft little voice, and she's just talking to you through things. I'm like, I know you're evil. You are evil incarnate, and I know you are. I just can't prove it. It was, I was like, I know you're not helping me, but how are you gonna screw me? I don't know why you're actually helping me right now, but for the big reveal to be like, it was all a con, like the whole thing was a con, and I'm like, that was crazy. I was like, okay. I was like, that's insane. I didn't expect that. I thought just she was trying to screw me over. Not that they were all kind of playing their part. I'm like, that's Ooh. I was like, you. This was all just role play. Y'all just chuckling in the corner like, okay, so you're gonna spin around a room, and while you're spinning around the room, I'm gonna guide him through it. It's okay, don't worry, don't attack him though. It's crazy shit. That's like, that game was really cool.
I will say Sister Location, if you just go for like the base game and you don't do the secret bullshit, it's a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really is. It probably would be one of my favorites if I had suffered the way I did.
Suffer as I have.
Switching over from Five Nights at Freddy's because it's become a Five Nights at Freddy's conversation.
Hell yeah.
I wanna talk about like when we talked about iterating on something, right? And like making it a little bit different. The switch from Bendy and the Ink Machine to Bendy and the Dark Revival.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited for the third game, whatever they're gonna come out with that they just announced. You want to talk about BioShock?
Yeah.
Bendy and the Dark Revival is just BioShock.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it felt so familiar it was weird. It felt familiar in two separate ways. It felt familiar like Bendy and the Ink Machine, but it also was like, I love BioShock. So it's like, okay, well, I'm playing Bendy Shock?
Bendy Shock. I don't actually like the I don't like the sound of that one.
I don't either. I mean,
like
technically, you did shock Bendy in it, so
True.
you know.
Yeah.
But it still had its moments where it was just creepy and had a lot of good jump scares for me. I love Bendy. I think that as far as Mascot horror goes, Bendy stands as one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I am a sucker for that animation style. I love Fleischer Studios. I love classic Disney. Like the rubber hose style to me is just something I've always enjoyed.
Bad cheese.
Seeing it in Bad Cheese was great. I loved that game, dude. It was so much fun. It was such a trip. But like seeing them go from, because let's be honest, Bendy and the Ink Machine has a lot of misses. It's a great game, but there's a lot of points in that game where it's not really a horror game anymore. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, pretty damn good. Chapter 3, we don't talk about Chapter 3. Chapter 4 had some good moments, but then the ending confrontation with Bendy is ass. Like, absolute garbage. Like, hey, please don't run me over. Can you run into these 4 pillars and then I can go and put a thing on a reel so we're done here? Thanks, cool, bye. I felt like the difference between those two games, it was still a horror game. It was still like a pretty well done horror game, but it did so much better. Like Bendy randomly showing up on the map, making everything go inky and growling in your ear randomly throughout the thing was always like, okay, I need to go fucking hide.
Yeah.
Like, it was really well done.
Yeah.
So like moving on from like one thing to another, from like same thing with Five Nights at Freddy's 4, it's a sister location, going from like, hey, you're still kind of stationary, but now, oh no, you're moving around.
Mm-hmm.
You actually have sections where you're crawling around on the floor. When you do slight innovations that still go along the same lines, because you've seen it with like Bendy and the Ink Machine, Bendy and the Dark Revival just did it in a much higher jump. But Five Nights at Freddy's has been doing it since game 1.
Yep.
And then they moved it. People can argue that, you know, the third one wasn't very innovative in a lot of ways because of how easy it gets with just Springtrap being the only threat. I thought as far as atmosphere and suspense in that game, they did build some things up to it. Then with 4, kind of moving you around those big room, that is a huge room for you to like run with, like, I'm running to this door. Is there breathing?
Yeah.
And then run back to my bed, run to my closet, run back to my bed. You have this like motion introduced, and then you have full-on segments. That is the kind of innovation that I think is great. And like you see it in a lot of games that continue to grow. But you need to have that baseline.
Yeah.
And Like I've played so many damn shitty horror games that are just like, oh, you run, you scream, there's a thing there, you collect the stuff, dead children and all that.
Yeah.
And like I don't need your first game. Like if you are doing a chapter-based Mascot horror game or anything like that, I don't need the first game to be fully innovated. I just need it to stick the damn landing, and then you can start innovating.
True. True. Yeah, there definitely needs to be a baseline when it comes to those things for sure. Like you can't just jump into the what you know on its own and just be like, well, this is what it is, and just go off of that. You need to establish your own and baseline, and then you can grow and innovate accordingly. However, there are times when, like, you know, there's too deep of a transition. I feel, I don't know, like I kind of wish that, for instance, Security Breach and Mimic were not part of the FNAF franchise. Kind of same kind of deal, because it just doesn't feel like it at all. And it's the same when it goes with other people. Like, I don't know, like I glazed up like Joy of Creation. I'm like, I kind of wish it just was its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you can definitely take that inspiration. That's a big thing. We'll like, you know, we've talked about a lot with over horror in general. Like you could take inspiration and drive with it, and you can even drive a similar plot and narrative as you want with, like you did with the others. Like, well, that someone did in another piece of media. But like, make it your own a bit. Like that's another thing too. Make it your own a bit. It doesn't always have to be that. Like even like me rambling about like my projected idea of how I could make a Mascot horror like thing. It's like there's other ways that you could do it. You don't have to just recreate the same gem over and over again. Is like a big deal of it with me. And then you just, I don't know. A lot of them also just don't feel like horror either. Like. Again, my brain goes back to my disappointment in like Indigo Park's first chapter and stuff like that, where it just doesn't feel scary at all, and that's coming from me, who's like dead inside. but even then, I can recognize when something's a little bit more scary. Like I'd argue that the first chapter of Poppy's Playtime and the first chapter of Garden of Banban were scarier than Indigo Park's first chapter. But Indigo Park, I think, looked scarier. So it's like it's weird. It's like a weird position where it's like I think it's just a difference in execution, and I think understanding of how to implement those themes, I think, is what it is. And then of course all of those go their own different ways. Poppy Playtime, I don't know, I feel like it kind of just creates itself on the backbone of trying to create merch. Garden of Banban goes the full comedic route, and then we don't know where Indigo Park's gonna go.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it's gonna go. I'm curious Banban's going, because I do appreciate that devs are kind of going all in with it. No, it's just a joke at this point. There'll be some scary moments, but this is just stupid. And I appreciate that, like, being part of the joke and understanding, instead of trying to be like, no, we're serious. No, we're so serious. It's a serious game. No, like, it's a joke.
Yeah.
You had a fucking chicken stare at me and walk up to me. No.
It just, that immediately just reminds me of me playing. I have the clips of me playing Garden of Banban 1 and just just being on the other side of that, whatever it was, the thing that went across the gap, and just watching the bird come around and just being like, don't attack me. Don't do it. And then it just attacked me, and I'm just like, come on, man. Oh my god, it was goofy out of the gates, but they kind of took the goofiness in stride. I don't think they intended for it to be a joke, but they definitely kind of led with it.
They definitely, in the beginning, were a little bit more aggressive with like the pushback of people saying this is just a joke game. Like I remember there were some growing pains with, and it's been a crazy thing to kind of see unravel, because they went from, no, this is a horror game, and like being pretty staunch on that, and then going to, you know what, no, you guys are right, this is a joke. This is just,
we're right in the meme.
This is why you guys play it. We understand that they just went along with it. It's been one of the funniest evolutions of a game to see
Mm-hmm.
like unfold around me with people I know.
Watch Indigo Park be that. You're like, oh, Rambly's so cute. I love Rambly. It's so goofy. I didn't really get scared by it. Chapter 2 comes out, just freaking erases people. It's just like, oh god, this is scary.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see, because they've shown some screenshots, because it's all going to be in like the underworld. The sea dragon is like the main thing for chapter 2. So they've been showing off screenshots and how the atmosphere and it looks miles above where chapter 1 is. I know they've updated chapter 1, its graphics since I played it, because I played it when it first came out, and I do need to go and revisit it and see what is different, because I do know they updated it. But that is definitely one that there's also another one that I will always give developers credit when they admit their faults.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that's been on my list called Bushside Rangers.
I've never heard of that.
And chapter 1 is free to play. They're working on chapter 2 right now. I was going to play it to see how it was, but then I noticed the developers post earlier this year, hey, we understand that there were some issues with chapter 1. We appreciate everyone who stuck by with us. We are going to be doing a graphical overhaul and making improvements to chapter 1 as a free update. So stay tuned for that. So I'm waiting to see how that goes. But there's something in me. Maybe it's just that I love the creative process or indie devs, but when they are just completely earnest about what's going on, I love it. So whether that game's good, whether that game is bad, I don't know. But I'm waiting for them to update chapter 1 before I play it. I just think that's cool. I just think that's really cool when devs do stuff like that. Like, just a free update, because we got your feedback, and you know what? We're going to listen, and we care about our product. We care about our project, and we want to make it better. I love that. I absolutely love that. Same reason I like, not Mascot Horror, but the developers of Dread Flats, said something very similar. They're doing a whole free DLC chapter that's going to expand upon the story of the game that they're working on right now. And it was at the very end of, like, when you're done playing it, they say, thank you for playing. We really enjoyed making this game. We're wanting to add more to it. Look out for a free update with more content coming soon. I love that stuff. I'm a sucker for stuff like that. It's always something I love to see. I'm always cheesy. I love that thank you for playing my game at the very end of an indie game. It just makes me happy.
Indigo Park does that.
That song was on fucking repeat.
Yes.
For like a month.
Yeah, that song was freaking amazing.
At Indigo Park.
Yeah, like,
it's so good.
What right now the thing that is definitely carrying Indigo Park is its personality.
Yes.
And like that's to say something, but personality isn't gonna completely carry it if it starts to fall short. So, fingers crossed.
I'm hoping the passion stays there, and I hope that any shortcomings don't lead to them just shutting down and being like, well, chapter 2 failed or something, we're done. We're just going to stop. We're not going to improve it and then make 3, and then we're just going to abandon it completely. So I'm hoping the passion stays there. It would also be very interesting if they get, as cheesy as it can be sometimes, some guest VAs in there too. I don't know, playing it through Poppy's Playtime and there being Jacksepticeye, and it was just kind of fun. It was kind of fun. His acting wasn't great, but it was fun. Like
his acting was better in Bendy, okay?
Yeah, that's fair.
I was upset. I was so upset because they have his character in Bendy and the Dark Revival, but it's not an audio log, it's just a written log. And I was so mad. I was so annoyed because I was like, this man's supposed to sound like, why did you just get him to come back?
Yeah, true. He would have. He would have. I would love to be a part of one of these games.
Fair, I don't know if he would have, with all the drama that was going on around the time the Dark Revival came out with the studio. So that might have been why they couldn't get him back.
I didn't even know any of the drama.
But I was still upset.
Yeah, I don't know any of that drama. I'm not in the loop
Oh
there.
yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
I have not followed up with basically anything unless somebody's doing something like heinous, like they're like, you're overly merchandising or you're using AI or something. I usually don't hear about it.
Or what was it, Dead by Daylight's Hellraiser NFT bullshit?
Yeah. 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 Uh-huh.
Oh, the pain! I can hear it.
Yeah, that's just I don't know why I got like PTSD flashbacks to like comments and
Please,
YouTube
it's
videos and I was like, my God.
Oh my gosh, that was definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to see more Mascot horror. There are some that I am looking forward to playing and checking out this year. Some older, some newer. I definitely am with someone who like goes on and is like, list of Mascot horror games. And I check them out. If they pique my interest, I'm like, okay, add this to the list. If I'm like, that looks like shit, I'm like, I'm just gonna leave that there.
Yeah, that's valid.
But
that's valid.
It's always, it's important. It's hard. It's hard to sift through like the sand, right? It's really hard to try and go through just a mountain to find like just a few hidden gems.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth it when you do. When you do find like a good horror game, or you do find something that like nobody else is talking about, and it either just stays as something you enjoy or something everyone else starts to figure out is amazing. Like mouthwashing. Mouthwashing is a perfect example.
Yep.
I played that game and recorded it the day it came out. I've been looking forward to it for a very long time. Because the first game that those developers made was I Am Fish or something like that.
I Am Fish.
It was very trippy, weird kind of, you're a fish going up or going down. And it's just very surreal and very weird with some very out there segments. So I was like, okay, let's see what else these guys are going to come out with. And I loved that game. I had so much fun with it. It was written beautifully, executed beautifully. And I was like, okay, cool. I took my time to make the video with it. And as I'm editing that video, because I was so busy in like my personal life, I think that video took me a month or two to fully edit down and get done. As I'm editing it and as I'm going through it, I'm watching slowly the popularity rise and everybody else making their videos, playing it, talking about it, seeing all TikToks and the shorts about it. I'm like, this is like, it was so cool to just be part of that, because I'm usually not someone who's part of like the initial wave of something.
Oh, I'm definitely.
I got into Dark Souls super late. Like when game came out in 2009. First time I played it was like 2012.
I don't think I played Dark Souls until the second game, and then I went back and played the other two.
Yeah, and
Demon
it's
Souls,
just
I'm
one of those
referencing,
things.
yeah.
Demon Souls.
The Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 I didn't play until after Dark Souls 2.
And I just did that with the game I'm just finished playing, Eclipsium. I think Mouthwashing and Eclipsium are in about the same place for me as far as like a really good, well executed, surreal experience that honestly probably some people would have looked at it and been like, no. But I would have never found those if I hadn't been like looking through like the entire list of horror games. Because I will sit on Steam, I will go to the horror section, and I will just scroll. And I'll be like, nope. I'll click on one that maybe the title's interesting, the page looks interesting. I'll look at it, I'll look at more screenshots, and then I'll be like, no, or maybe, and pop it on my wish list. it's so worth sifting through all the shit
I
and then finding something amazing.
I have I usually end up going through actually YouTube. It's usually there's some content creators I watch that play like basically any and every horror game that comes out that gets any type of buzz, even if it's like three
Ah.
people talking about it. And so sometimes I'll see those kind of creators and I'll see what they're playing and I'm like, what is this? And I'll get a little bit of a peep and I'll be like, okay, actually I want to play that. And so I won't watch any more of the video until after the fact. But they'll sometimes just pull these like nice little gems out of there. And that's actually how I discovered Exit 8 originally, because that was nowhere near on my radar. And that ended up kind of coming into play because two of those small like those creators ended up like mentioning the game before it even popped off, and then we're like, this game came out, it's an Anomaly game, and I'm like, that's cool. And I'm like, so am I like on the camera? And it's like, no, you're like walking through like a subway thing, and I'm like, wow, I want to play that. And so I ended up playing it, and I actually need to replay it again because at some point I think to celebrate the movie's release they added more anomalies to the game. So I kind of want to go back and see what's new and what's different, and see what's changed. And it may not be like a live stream thing, but I might just chill with people in Discord and just and just play it up, play it with some with a community or something like that. But it's always nice to kind of find those things. But I definitely don't have the I don't have the stamina to be going through like Steam lists or whatever. Like it usually just ends up being like it ends up getting some kind of buzz, and then usually I can kind of catch it before a lot of them blow up, but then I'm usually pretty slow to actually getting around to playing it. So I don't end up being a part of the hype anyways, because I end up doing it like way after everyone else. And I also don't follow like horror developers or anything like that. Mostly because a lot of them don't end up even finishing their games. And if I follow conversations about things, people don't know how to avoid spoilers. And so if it's anything that has a narrative or anything that has like some cool jump scare in it, I already know about it before the game comes out. And it kind of ruins the momentum for me. It's like, it's just kind of unfortunate. Like I make it a thing to like not consume anything that I plan on enjoying. So it's kind of like a hard balancing act to play, to stay informed and stay in the know, but also not have everything ruined for me. That's kind of like how like I'm dodging social media for Silent Hill Forte, because I'm just like I can't like I've seen like a little tiny bit of it because I was curious about how the combat played out, but like I kind of just like that's all I watched. And like the one review I listened to of it, the dude literally was like as cryptic as he could be. He was just like, this is why it's good, this is why it's bad, I'm not gonna say shit about it, like that's it. And I was like, cool, sweet. As far as what the narrative is, the nuances of it, the monsters, the jump scares, I've seen none of that. So I'm keeping myself kind of spared from it. All I've seen so far is basically the creatures that are in the trailer. So it's really hard with that. And when it comes to like staying on the topic of this episode, like Mascot horror, it's very hard to walk that line, especially there, because the appeal of it is usually requires you to kind of show off the gameplay loop and show off some of the scares and to show off some of the themes, and it's very you have to be very forward with it. And so it's very, very hard for me to try to find Mascot horror that I want to play, because I'm just like, half of it looks like, for better lack of a word, shit, and the other half I'm like, if I look into this too much I'm gonna know everything, and I don't want to. So I'm like, you have to actually like play them. Like that's what like made me go through like every single one that I have played, was just kind of being like, I don't know if this is gonna be dog water, but like I have to play it because I have to know if this one's gonna be good or not. Like, yeah, people are talking about it, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, people were talking about Garden of Banban, but they were talking about it because it had memeability. They weren't talking about it because it's the scariest thing to come out. So it's like, I can't just go off of like, this has buzz around it, and there has to be like a reason for it, but I'm gonna spoil myself if I find out the reason. So it's like, fuck, man. Like, I have to be very careful with navigating it. I'm
gonna recommend one to you since you want to play Exit 8 again. So there's this developer that I think makes some of the funniest games. I haven't played any of them, but just thematically I love them. So The two games are Penguin Hotel and Penguin Hotel 2, like these mascot horror games they've worked on. But they have a free one that's called Pexit 8.
Hexit 8?
And it's just penguins. It's just Exit 8-foot penguins.
Exit. Oh, I found it already, and it's literally got the same logo, but it's a penguin.
So,
Oh,
that's the kind of stuff that I love right there.
a unique combination. Escape from the endlessly looping hallway. If you find an anomaly, choose yes pen. If there is no anomaly, choose no pen. All anomalies contain penguin elements. Penguins are after you.
Yep. So I love stuff like that.
What the hell? Even.
So.
I'm astonished. And
The stuff that you will find if you just scroll, man, is amazing.
I'm scared to scroll through Steam, man. Half the time I just see boobs.
That's, you know what? That is fair, even in the horror category.
There's just horror. It's like horror. What's the horror game? Girl getting railed by a werewolf, and I'm like, I want an actual horror game, not whatever this is.
I think they added a W to the front of that, but
A W to the front of that?
horror games.
Oh! I'm sorry. Please. I was like, I just imagine like a game cover, and I'm like, what? They put a W on the game cover? I don't even remember the game cover. Like, what are you talking about?
For a lot of people, that's a big W. Getting railed by a werewolf. God damn.
I agree, but that's a conversation for another day.
We know you do.
Oh my god. But yeah, I think that's most of what I had to say involving this particular genre of things.
Yeah.
I wanted to say like movies, but there's not really too many examples of mascot horror movies that are not either memes or literally the FNAF movies.
The only one I can think of is Willy's Wonderland with Cage.
That was my first thought.
But I can't think of really any other one.
The movie where he says no spoken lines and just beats things up the whole movie.
Well, maybe, I mean, Small Soldiers isn't like a horror movie. There are a few that take place in toy stores. I guess Chucky's a mascot horror.
Chucky is indeed a mascot horror game, and if movie, technically yes, and so would be if we're going by that logic, so would be Annabelle.
Yep.
Yeah, technically by definition, technically.
I think I got everything said that I wanted to say. Like, I do agree that it's an oversaturated, overdone market. I do think that it's worth sifting through that oversaturated market to find the good ones. Like, Pexit 8 looks fucking hilarious to me, and I'm gonna love it. But I also, like, I wanted to talk about how it doesn't come to an oversaturation because people want to make the games. And I think that's the worst thing. Like, it's so easy to get things up these days. It used to be really hard to get your game on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
It used to have a whole greenlight process. It used to have to go through so much hell. But nowadays, there's so many just acid flips and just getting everything done as quickly as possible to try and make a quick buck that it's a lot harder to find all those good games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the mascot horror genre suffers from the most. It's just a lot of people trying to capitalize on, oh, cute thing is scary, but I don't understand why these games are good. And finding the ones that do understand it is hard, but it's worth it.
Well, that's also,
it's a very fun genre.
It's also one of those things where I feel like a lot of people, their first horror game period are these mascot horror games, and so like they don't even know how to make a horror game, and they're like, yeah, but I'm gonna make FNAF, and it's like, you don't even know how to make a horror game, and you're gonna try to make a horror game, like, and then let alone the most popular one in existence, like that's crazy. Like that's a big jump, like, and some people, they kill it. They come out of the gates, they've never made a horror game before, they do something crazy, like even like from a AAA standing point, you have the Alien Isolation game. That company made RTS games and mobile games and all of these other games that are not in the horror scope, and then they just came out of freaking left field and were like, this is one of the best horror games of all time. And it's like, what
No,
how
it,
did you
it
do this?
truly is.
Like, how did you do that? Like, that's crazy.
With Alien Isolation, though, you can tell there's a lot of the source material.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of love for even just getting the technology on the computers right, getting the look, the feel, the aesthetic right. There's a lot of love poured into that game.
I think
from the creators.
I think that one stands out so much among it all too, because like it does the thing where you're like, where they basically just said, hey, we're gonna make the movie into a game. Essentially.
Yeah.
Like they changed, they had some liberties and stuff in there, but they basically just said like, this is like the kind of shit that happens in the movie, let's make it into a game, rather than people feeling like they need to over reinvent the wheel and over course and then end up kind of ruining at the core either the gameplay or the source material. I think that's why it did so well. I'm skeptical on the second release of it that's going to come out, like the second game, but we'll see.
I'm very curious. It's been what, 10 years? It's been a while. Like that game came out.
That was like 2016 or something like that, or 2015.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Isolation was released in 2014, so the same year FNAF came out.
Yeah, so and that's crazy that it's still held at such a high standard. When people want to play a horror game, and I have to go off like a content creator viewpoint, right? Because Rain did it last year, right?
Yep. Yep.
when like content creators who have played it horror and they want to get a horror game for October, Alien Isolation is one of the top recommendations anyone gives, right up there with Five Nights at Freddy's. Because Five Nights at Freddy's, of course, is always what people play, but then it is immediately followed by Alien Isolation for good reason.
Yeah.
Like it is one of the longest actual horror games. I think it is the longest horror game that I can say is actually a horror game.
Yeah, yeah. And like it's on its own island, because like you have like, so if most people are going to recommend horror to somebody else, they go, okay, play a Resident Evil game, play a Silent Hill game, play a FNAF game, which are all series, right? And then it's like, but Alien Isolation has such merit and prestige on its own that it could stand against those like actual franchises, which is even more crazy to think about, that there is no other Alien Isolation game, but people still hold it to the same regard as FNAF, which has fucking 9 games. So it's insane, and it still looks gorgeous too. It's an 11-year-old game, and it still looks amazing.
Oh, it holds up so well.
Like that game is graphically insane. There's a little bit of dating in like the human faces and stuff like that, but like otherwise, like that game is stellar. And again, it came out of an RTS like studio. Like where did they like this game that doesn't, like this game genre that doesn't matter about fidelity, and you're just kind of like, oh yeah, control things, and then it's just kind of like, no, but they made one of the most revolutionary games. I mean, even to this day, I haven't seen really too many games use the same type of AI that the game uses, the like multifaceted AI, what do they call it? AI director, I think is what they call it. I don't know if you know about the AI director in the game, Ciaran. Do you?
No,
so,
I do not. I don't know a lot about how AIs function in game. It's always been something where I'm like, I call out the AI of the of the monster that's fucking with me. I don't understand how any of it works.
So that game came out around the same time that I entered college, and at the time I entered into game design, and so I was very interested in like everything that was kind of current in the scene, and so I did a deep dive into that game, and I don't know why nobody else uses this. I don't know if it's too complicated. I don't know if it would break too many things, and they just happened to be the one studio that didn't break it. But they have 2 AI that control the aggression of the enemies in that game. You have the AI itself that is, the alien or whatever, but then you have the AI director. And essentially, the AI that would be like behind the brains of the xenomorph is going through the motions of what it should do. So it goes okay, I'm going to drop down and I'm going to look around for this player, or I'm going to check this locker or something. But then the AI director in the background is taking notes the whole time, and it's going, this player, like it's from like a metagaming knowledge. Like the AI is actually sitting there recording what you're doing, and it's going, oh, this guy likes to hide underneath things. Okay, they like to hide underneath beds. They always hide under the beds. Okay, cool. And then it whispers in the ear of the actual AI and goes, hey, dude, you should check under beds more. And then the AI goes, oh, I should check under beds more. And so then the AI will actively try to find you from your playing habits. So if you like to run, if you like to sneak around it, hide in lockers, hide under desks, hide under beds, if you like to slip behind it, the AI director will then continue to take notes on that and tell the actual other AI how you play the game. And so then it feeds the xenomorph with the knowledge and how to catch you specifically. And so the AI will act differently depending on who's playing the game. And so my way of playing could cause the xenomorph to act differently than how you play the game. And so
that explains a lot, actually.
And so it's insane, but not many games seem to do this kind of multifaceted thing. At least I haven't heard of any other major horror game using a multifaceted AI like that. But like, that blew my mind. I'm like, there's like, it's literally like a person is just sitting there directing the AI the entire time. I'm like, that's so freaking cool. But while not like directly exposing you, like it's not like it's going like, oh yeah, Ciaran's underneath that bed right now. It's like, it's just kind of suggesting like, hey, they hide under things, by the way. And then the AI can then decide if it wants to actually check under there or not. And I'm like, that's so interesting. And like you could see it happening. Like if you hide under the bed like 3, 4, 5 times and it doesn't search for you yet, and then you go and decide to hide like in a locker, you might watch the next thing the xenomorph does is go check under that bed because it learned from the director.
That makes sense as to why the last sequence of the game is so much more. Because the end of the game, like the last chapter when everything's on fire, trying to get out, you're actively being hunted through the entire thing, is the part that always gets me the most. And that would explain as to why. Because it's been a whole game of like your different habits being fed to this thing, and now it's like, oh, okay, I'm everywhere now. I'm supposed to be super aggressive and super active. Let's go do that. It
also is keeping track of your successes and your failures too. So the game will start becoming easier or harder depending on how much you're avoiding danger. So the final segment of the game would theoretically be significantly harder if you've been navigating the game really easily, compared to if you keep getting wrecked by the xenomorph, then the game will start to kind of dumb down the AI. So then the director will go, hey, chill a bit. And so it'll kind of dial back the creature so that you can survive and maybe get past that part. But then the moment you start having a streak of success again, it'll amp up the difficulty again and send the alien at you even harder than before. And so the game is constantly adapting to what you're doing. And that's such a cool piece of technology. Again, coming out of a studio that you would not expect that of, and also not really seeing that replicated again. Like imagine a FNAF game where you're being hunted like in exploration third person by the animatronics, and they continue to learn like the xenomorph does. That would be insane. That'd be so cool. I would love that. But I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know why they don't do that. I should actually, that'll be my own little project after we end this recording, is I'm going to see if there's any article out there talking about why no one else uses an AI director, or if there is other cases of AI directors and I just don't really know about it. Like I'm sure there's That's AI fair. Directors in like like I know there are in RTS games, and some RTS games out there are some that will actually sit there and kind of like if the game detects that you are getting stomped way too hard by a faction, it might kind of dumb it down. So maybe that's why it exists in Alien ISO, is because they have that background in RTS, and so they kind of were like, let's bring this thing into this horror game. Wouldn't that be cool? But like again, it's been 11 years since that game came out, and I haven't really heard of that being used. But at the same time, I'm also not like as into game design as I used to be, so maybe I'm also just out of the loop. But
maybe I just don't know.
Maybe I just am genuinely ignorant, but I would love to know, because it's such a fascinating piece of technology, and I wish that people would use that with horror more. Because, you know, we're gonna wrap up this recording here shortly, but one last little tangent here is I do wish that ideas like that would be pushed to try to limit the difficulty of some things, because again, we talked about how sometimes games are a little bit too difficult because people don't have an understanding of why something's horrific, and they just opt for difficulty and oppression rather than any type of actual suspense build up and thoughtful planning. And maybe something like this aggressive system of the AI director would actually help a lot of these creators, but I don't know how accessible that is to do and how complicated that is, because that sounds incredibly complicated to me, because you need to have an AI that's keeping track of everything and constantly taking notes and then feeding that information to another AI, which, I mean, maybe nowadays it's more successful and easier to do because of how far we've come with AI, but again, those AI are not commercially accessible. You can't just throw Grok into into a video game. So I don't know how you would do that, but it would be interesting to see more adaptive games like that, and that could even expand outside of horror itself. Having AI that adapts, like if I'm playing through Skyrim, or Elden, I'm playing through, Elden Ring 2, as that inevitably comes out, and the AI just starts kicking my ass because I'm beating the game. That would be kind of cool. Not gonna lie, it'd be pretty cool to play through a Souls game and the game goes, "Oh, you're pretty good. Let me humble you."
All they'd have to do with a Souls game is have each boss have two separate movesets, where one is extremely delayed and one is extremely fast. And if you just decide to swap that up
True.
on someone randomly, that's why everyone found Elden Ring so difficult in like the beginning, is because the only enemies in the Souls series that had really delayed attacks were like the Nameless King, the Soul of Cinder, Artorias, Manus, and Gwyn. Those are the only real bosses that had delayed attacks. Everything else was. And then when you get to Margit and he's like holding his staff above his head for 5 hours.
Yeah, you have time. You have time to go away, pick up McDonald's, come back, eat half of it, and then sip your drink once, and then he swings.
Yeah, but every boss in Elden Ring has delayed attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Like they took, and they were just like, so that's why eventually you get used to it and it's not as hard. Like
However,
Radahn's like combo of like his 4 hits, the middle hit's delayed, but you start to like see that after a while, and it just becomes one of those things where like, oh, you're kicking my ass, but I understand why.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, it gets even worse with I almost said Night Rain, with Shadow of the Erdtree, with like there's literal characters in there that'll be like swing, 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 pause, swing. Swing, 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 and I'm like, oh my god, I hate you so much. Like that's what throws me off so much. Like Bloodborne was so easy for me because it's so meticulously like rhythm driven, and so like I was very much like dodge, 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 dodge. Okay, I can attack twice. Dodge, 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 dodge. Attack twice. Same with Sekiro, but yeah, Elden Ring was like it was rough because my pattern brain, I understand your moveset, became very fucked up by people holding attacks and being like, please stop holding your attack, I hate this. I'm like, just swing at me. But like it would be cool to see more presence of AI directors and stuff like that to kind of adapt the game and adapt to the playstyle, and it would create a more curated experience to people, and applying it in the sake of our conversation of horror and stuff like that, it could also change the pacing of how scares are done if people can figure out how to do that. Which I think would be very interesting. The closest I could think of that is Visage, because Visage, to my understanding, adapts its scares the longer you start to do certain things, and so that's kind of cool. I don't know if you've played Visage yet, but that's one I definitely.
First 2 parts were good. Yeah, the scares started to overstay their welcome.
Yeah.
Like the one you're walking through the halls of the house, and eventually like, oh, she's back. Cool. I'm gonna walk away for a little bit.
Yeah.
It got really really repetitive after a while, and I think that was another game that by the end of it I was like, please just end.
Yeah,
Please just be done.
it overstayed its welcome, I think. I think that would have been a better
Oh, yeah.
game if it was like 1 or 2 chapters and that was kind of it. I think that was definitely like a 3 to 5 hour experience and not the whatever the hell 10 hour that we have from the completed thing of it.
Yeah, it's a long game, and it didn't need to be.
But yeah, I think now it's very evident. I think we're done with the the topic of animatronics because now we're like Elden Ring and Alien ISO and all these other things that we've clearly gone off the beaten path now, which is usually a good sign at when we should wrap this up. It was a good conversation though. I do like talking about it. It's an interesting genre again because of that whole bubble thing of it's really only a genre that's been popular for about a decade and everybody's mass-produced a bunch of games and continue to mass-produce a bunch of games within our genre, within this particular genre, not our genre. I own this genre. But like it's very interesting to see, and I think going into the future, people will look at Mascot horror under a microscope and really kind of analyze this, and it'll be a very interesting time period. I think in like the genre of horror as a whole, seeing this kind of pocket burst because there's not really another genre that I could really think of that had like such a micro bubble like this. Like everything else became like full-fledged. Aliens went everywhere, mass murderers and all that stuff went everywhere, ghosts and demons and all that stuff went everywhere. But like Mascot horror and stuff like that is such a small time bubble for everything, so it's kind of interesting, and we'll see how it evolves and updates going into the future. That being said, we have 2 more episodes in this season where we'll continue to talk about very specific cases within horror. The next episode that we will talk about is going to revolve around survival horror, which will predominantly probably be, again, another kind of game-based conversation. You could definitely consider certain movies and things like that in the survival horror genre for sure, but I think it's more of a quintessential game category. So, of course, that means topics more specific on Resident Evil and Silent Hill, Fatal Frame, Ciaran, games like that will be a lot more prevalent in that conversation, which is super exciting for me, because those are some of my favorite genres and games in the franchises. I don't know. I know Ciaran's played some Resident Evil games. I don't know how much you've touched Silent Hill and Ciaran and any of those other Fatal Frame and all those kind of games yet.
Never heard of Ciaran. I know Fatal Frame.
Sorry?
Silent Hill, I've played a few, but
Okay.
Silent Hill is more I'm interested in the story, so I watched a lot of more retrospectives and story breakdowns because they fascinate me. Gameplay for those kind of games for me, hit or miss, really. Like
that's
I
fair.
think the Resident Evil I had the most fun with was 5 because I was playing with friends, and then solo was Resident Evil 7.
That's fair. You're like, yeah, okay. I could see what you're putting down gameplay wise. I could see what you're putting it down. For sure. Yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that then, because there's going to be some cool things, and I'll elaborate on what Ciaran is, because I don't think a lot of people know what Ciaran is, and it kind of hurts me that no one knows what the hell that game is, because it's
I've
freaking cool.
I played Dread Out.
Dreadout's okay. Dreadout. We could talk about Dreadout. We could definitely talk about that one. That was a. I don't think I played the second
That
one,
was
but
an
I played the first one.
experience.
But yeah, Ciaran. I'm definitely gonna talk to you about Ciaran. That's gonna happen. You might know it under its other name. It was originally called Ciaran Blood Curse, and then they cut down the name, I guess, to rebrand it when they made like a remaster or console release or whatever they did. They re-released it, and then it was just called Ciaran. Maybe it was copywritten or something. I don't know. But that'll be a fun one. And then wrapping it up, the last episode will drop on Halloween, and that one will be on the topic of found footage. So that will kind of dance a line between, because there's games that are faceted in the same way of, body cams, found footage, recordings, all those kind of things, but there's also obviously a massive market for it in movies and shows and stuff like that exists within the world of it. And that means I also get to ramble about my favorite horror movie in existence. So that's going to be fun to do. That one will drop on Halloween, and from there that'll wrap up this entire season, and from there we'll kind of take a nice break. I need a break from one more weekly obligation. And we'll start drawing back the idea.
Too much, dude.
I do a lot, and it's just a lot of things in the background. I need to get better with it because I have like something every day at this point, and I need to get better with not having something every day. I need to have work days and off days, and not just every day is a work day.
Yep.
But
I agree.
I'm bad with that. And then we'll start talking about the wheels and cogwheels of potentially making a season 2. And if we do a season 2, I would like for it to get a little bit more collaborative, I guess, and more interesting in those cases. Like I would like to see about getting guests on here besides just me and Ciaran, and having some more discussions and maybe some more varied opinions, because for the most part me and Ciaran are on the same point. We have some disagreements here and there, but for the most part we're pretty on brand with our interests. That's why I love the pink one so much, because we could just ramble about things that we enjoy together. But like, it would be nice. I do have some friends who have very different opinions, and they would be like, fuck Resident Evil, fuck Silent Hill, like I don't like those games. And it'd be interesting to have those kind of people on there and see why they have different takes of like what they see as it, because they do enjoy horror, they just enjoy different games. They would say that completely different games within the genre are more interesting to them. So it'd be interesting to do a couple things like that, maybe some reactionary content, and we'll kind of go from there and see what we kind of feel out from there. Increase the fidelity a bit, I guess, and the ways we do about it. But as always, I appreciate you, Ciaran, for joining, and I appreciate everybody who has watched this or will watch this. But we'll be back next week again with another episode in the survival horror, and I'm excited. I'm so excited to nerd out about Resident Evil and Silent Hill and Fatal Frame. I'm so excited.
It's just gonna be me here doing this.
Yeah, Ciaran's just gonna be going like this,
talking.
and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3. We don't talk about the room, but
we talk about the UFOs in the room.
We do talk about the UFOs in the room and the Shiba Inus. But thank you again, everyone. I will see you guys next time. And Shawoli's goopy little friend here. Look at that. Look at that.
Yay!
You're observing this and not just listening to this. Look at that. Look at that goop. Look at that. Oh my god. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.